This is C3, Couples Casual Conversation. I'm GregoryDeon. This is
DorianMarie.
And we're here today to have a conversation. So today we're having a conversation about learning your partner's routine.
Yes.
All right. So there are some routines that I have established for myself that I've been doing for a very long time. And there's some routines that she has established for herself. She's been doing for a very long time. And we're trying to figure out how to bring those together where we can function both without having to eliminate our routines.
It's important to establish routines individually and as a couple. And it's also important that we give each other that space for you to have your routines. Like you have a certain routine when you cut your hair. But there's a routine. He has his music. He gets his stuff set up. And I give him that space. He was doing that before we ever lived together. That was something that he established, so I give him that space. And I make sure I don't come in there asking him questions. Can you do this? Can you do that? And making sure he can have his music as loud as he wants to, because that's his space and that's his time. And it eliminates frustration when you give that person that space and their time to do that.
Absolutely. Likewise, she has her time when she puts on her makeup. And what I was having a tendency to do is when she was having that time, I would interrupt that time in such a way that it would increase the amount of time that she had designated to do this particular routine. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't, I didn't go in there and grab her and shake her up and nothing like that. But as you women know, when you're putting on makeup, you have to have your face still. Right. You're looking in a mirror, you're looking at, the lines of contour of your face, and you're trying to get things as perfect as you possibly can. Right. And when I come in or when someone comes in and asks you a question, you have to move your face. Right. And that could cause a disruption in that routine. And that's something that, she definitely doesn't appreciate. And I definitely wouldn't appreciate it if I'm trying to line myself up. Right. And she comes in and asks me a question. I have to stop. So.
But you brought up that you learned how to interact.
Yes. Boom. That's a nugget. Right. So this is how I learned how to interact. I had to sit down and observe her routine. Mm-hmm. I had to learn about what goes on during this routine. Not just, it's a routine, I'm just going to leave and go to the other room. No, I need to still be present. I need to still be there and learn how to operate in her routine. Mm-hmm. And so what I would do, I would sit and I would observe what she does in that moment. Let's say putting on her makeup, for instance. Or working out. Okay. Yeah. One, don't ask no questions.
Right.
That's not Q&A time. Right. You know what I mean? If nothing else, I'm going to sit by and just admire my woman in her essence and in her beauty and observe her loving on herself in that moment. Right. And so I would wait for those moments where she takes a pause. Mm-hmm. And that's important because me coming in and forcing the pause, it causes a disruption. Mm-hmm. So I would wait for her to pause, and I'm literally like, okay, here it comes. Boom, there's my moment. I dive in there, give her some sugar, and I dive out. And she appreciates that I'm there. I'm still attentive. I'm still interacting, but I'm not disrupting.
Right. So you said that you learned how to interact without disrupting. Like when I'll be working out and you'd want to have a conversation or talk. I'm like, look, either you're going to come in here and train with me or you're going to have to, okay?
So you fellas, you will know when you disrupting because that response is going to be a little different than it would normally be. And it could be the smallest thing. Hey, babe, where does this pot go? We don't really operate in the kitchen that often, but we want to help. But sometimes we don't really know what to do. But that's just not the moment. That's not the time. Just either figure it out, put it to the side, and wait till she's done, then address it. So that way it keeps the two of you all in flow. We want to keep the flow. Learning your partner's routine creates cohesiveness between the two of you, so things continue to flow.
Right. That was good. It creates cohesiveness, but it also respects our individuality. Like if you have a partner that talks a lot for their job all day, that's all they do is they talk a lot. When they get home, they may want 30 minutes or an hour just to themselves to be quiet, and then you're getting upset because they're not talking to you. Instead of respecting their routine, they may like to go into the room and read a book. They may like to go and shower or work out, and we need to respect that time. I know if I've had a long day of just doing different things, when I come home, my son already knows. He comes and he greets me, he says hello, and he lets me go to the room for a good 30 minutes before he starts to dump or ask questions or share, or I share with him. We have to respect that individuality, but it also brings that cohesiveness because I need that time. If you want me to be my best self, I need that time, you need that time. And you called it transition time.
Yes, transition time is very, very important. We as humans don't do well jumping from one activity to another, jumping from one responsibility to another, because they start to kind of intersect.
Right.
So we need that transition time and that time to transform into our, let's say, our better selves.
Yes.
You know, because we all have jobs, we all have other responsibilities, and some of us have children, some of us don't. You know, so we do need that time to unwind. We all need it. And once we recognize that transition time and learning your partner's routine, we know when that transition time is in effect.
Right.
We can see the routine, but when are the transition times? Because the transition is, I can say, is most likely a quiet time.
Yeah.
That transition time is a quiet time, a time of that you're movement, not necessarily physically, but mentally you're moving and you're transitioning and you're shifting. So you need time, just like driving your car, you need time for that gear to shift. And if you don't wait for it to shift, you'll grind your gears.
Right.
And so we don't want to have couple gear grinding sessions because it messes up the transition, So, and then it messes up the flow of things. And then from that point on, the things kind of could get weird for you. But, learning that transition time, learning that routine, how it all goes and flows together definitely builds cohesiveness in the relationship.
And respecting that some routines were already in place before you started living together, when you were dating, before you got married. So many times, I know I'll just speak for women, then you want to get upset with him because why are you always doing that when you cut your hair? Why you got to take an hour or two? You wasn't saying it when y'all were dating. You weren't saying it when y'all weren't married. And so now that's what he's doing, and you want to come and interrupt that flow. Or we've mentioned now, if you go to your mama's house every night till 12 o'clock, well, that's a routine. Well, I shouldn't have got with you, or we should have ended the relationship right then. You stay at your mama's house then, but I go to my mama's house at 12 o'clock every night. You knew that when we were dating. As long as it don't interrupt the relationship, it's cool. But that would interrupt the relationship.
Yeah, pretty much, because, unless she agrees to be there and she's there with you and y'all are still having y'all togetherness time, but, that's never a good thing to spend a lot of time when you have time to spend time with your lady.
Right. Well, to wrap this up, I'm excited about our next conversation. It's going to be on venting to your friends or other people about your partner. And how unhealthy it is to vent to other people. And our value or our standard is we don't vent to other people about our relationship. We're in the relationship. So if I have something that I need to discuss or have a conversation.
I
need to have that conversation with him.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to manifest what I need to manifest.
A better me.
A better version.
Not another me.
Not another.
There's only one me.
I'll go manifest a better version of him.
Yeah.
But we only vent towards one another because that's the person that you want to change. And so we're going to talk about the dynamics of that.
So definitely tune in to that one. That's going to be a great conversation, and how to have a conversation with your partner. Yeah.
And what is this called again?
This is C3.
C3.
Couples Casual Conversation.